Motion in your step.
Motivation in your heart.
Hello, and welcome to today's Motion and Motivation podcast.
We've put together a study guide for everyone. If you need it, you can grab it from the video description. Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into another fascinating book?
Always.
Today, we're tackling a classic in the self-improvement world. It's As a Man Thinketh by James Allen.
Oh, a great choice.
I know, right? And it might seem a little old school.
Yeah.
But the ideas are seriously relevant even over a century later.
Definitely.
We're going to explore how our thoughts shape our reality and how you can use that to make some real changes in your life.
I like it.
So what's so cool about Allen is that he doesn't just tell you to, think positive and good things will happen.
Right.
He goes deeper into the mechanics of it, like how those thoughts actually become your reality.
Yeah, what I find fascinating about Allen is that he really digs into those mechanics. He doesn't just say think positive.
Right.
He explains the how.
Exactly. And one of the best ways he does that is with this super vivid metaphor of the mind as a garden.
Oh, the garden metaphor. That's where Allen really shines, I think.
So he compares our thoughts to seeds, right?
Yeah.
If you nurture those positive thoughts, it's like taking care of a garden and you're planting the right things and they blossom into happiness and success.
You're carefully choosing the seeds.
But if we neglect our minds, then it's like
Oh, then the weeds come in.
weeds take over.
And they can choke out all the good stuff.
And they choke out all the good stuff.
It happens fast, too.
Right. So we're not just standing around watching. We're actively shaping this landscape in our minds.
We're the gardeners.
Yeah. But it's not just about planting flowers, though.
No?
We got to get our hands dirty and pull out those weeds.
You got a weed.
Yeah. All that self-doubt and fear, those are the weeds we got to get rid of.
And that weeding out process, I think that's where things get really interesting,
Oh, yeah.
Think about an area of your life where you're struggling right now. Career, relationships, maybe even your health.
Yeah.
What are the thoughts that are contributing to those struggles? Are you always doubting yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Are you focusing on what you don't have? Those are the weeds to start pulling.
It's like we can choose which seeds we plant and which ones we don't.
You have that power.
Yeah. But Allen doesn't stop there, right?
No, he doesn't.
He takes it a step further and says that what's happening around us is a direct reflection of what's going on inside.
That's a tough one for some people to grasp.
It is. It's easy to think if only things were different out there, then I'd be happy.
Oh, for sure.
But Allen flips that on its head.
He says you got to change the inside, your thoughts and beliefs, and then the outside will change too.
Right. So it's not about blaming ourselves for bad stuff.
Right.
It's about realizing we actually have a lot of control over our lives.
More than we think, usually.
Way more. And he has this example in the book that really shows this.
Oh, yeah.
So he talks about two guys. One's chronically poor, and he keeps cheating his employer and justifies it because of his low wages.
Hmm.
And then there's this rich guy who wants to be healthy, but he keeps overeating.
Oh, so they're both stuck.
They're both stuck because of their thoughts.
Yeah, their thoughts are creating their reality.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're sabotaging themselves without realizing it.
It's like they're trapped in those cycles of negativity.
So how does this actually work, though? How do thoughts crystallize into reality?
Well, this is where we can connect Allen to what we know now about psychology and the brain, right?
Okay.
When you have a thought, you're creating a pathway in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you have that thought, the stronger that pathway gets.
So if you're thinking negative stuff all the time, your brain gets wired for negativity.
It does. And those thought patterns show up in how you act and what happens to you.
That makes sense.
Like carving a groove into a record,
Oh, I like that.
The more you play that same track, the deeper the groove gets. And it's hard to get out of it.
So we have to choose the right thoughts to carve those grooves.
Exactly.
But how do we actually do that? It's easy to say, think positive.
Yeah, it's not that simple.
But how do we break out of those old negative patterns?
Well, Allen would say that the first thing is to understand that you are not your thoughts.
Okay.
You're the one watching those thoughts.
Oh, interesting.
And because you're the watcher, you can choose which thoughts you pay attention to and which ones you let go.
It's like stepping back from a crowd and deciding which conversations to join.
I like that.
And the more we do this, the better we get at spotting those negative thoughts.
And choosing to focus on something better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a skill worth developing, right?
It is.
Because Allen's whole message is about empowering us.
It is.
We have so much more control than we realize.
He's basically giving us the keys to our own mental garden and saying, go create the life you want.
That's a powerful image.
It is.
We're not just waiting for things to happen, we're creating them.
We are the gardeners.
Exactly.
It all starts with the mind. wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about how powerful our thoughts are and how they can shape our lives. But if we really want to change things for good, we can't just stop attending our mental garden.
You're right, it's not enough to just think positive thoughts.
Yeah.
Alan wants us to live with purpose.
Yeah, okay.
He actually compares living without a purpose to steering a ship without a destination.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so you're just drifting around.
Exactly. Just reacting to whatever comes your way instead of making your own path.
And I think a lot of people feel that way, right?
I think so, especially today, with so much going on and so many distractions.
It's hard to hear your inner compass with all that noise.
It is?
So how do we even find our purpose? Alan calls it our North Star.
It's all about self-discovery, and Alan says you got to start asking yourself some tough questions.
Like what?
What are you passionate about? What makes you happy? What kind of impact do you want to have on the world?
It's about going deeper than just what we want to do.
Yeah,
It's like, what's the why behind it all?
exactly. When you find that deeper purpose, your actions have more meaning.
Okay.
It's not just checking things off a list anymore.
Yeah.
Like you're part of something bigger.
And that helps you deal with challenges.
It does. It helps you stay focused on what really matters.
So it's like a filter for our thoughts.
I like that. A filter to help us decide what to focus on.
But what about achieving goals? How does that fit in with all this thought power stuff?
That's a great question. And Alan says that everything we achieve starts with a thought.
Okay, so it's more than just visualizing success.
Yeah,
You're actually using your mind to work towards the goal.
exactly. He gives examples in the book about inventors and artists and how they use focused thought to create things.
So their thoughts are like the blueprints.
Yes. And then their actions
Yeah,
are how they build it.
that's cool. But it's not just wishing for something and it magically appears.
Yeah, no, there's real work involved, real effort.
So thoughts have to be combined with actions.
Exactly. But here's the good news.
What's that?
Alan believes that anyone can achieve great things.
You don't need some special talent.
It's about using your mind and putting in the work.
So we're all capable of so much more than we think.
We are. Our potential is only limited by our thoughts.
It's a powerful idea.
It is. And speaking of potential, Alan has this amazing section about visions and ideals.
Oh yeah, he calls dreamers the saviors of the world.
Right. He thinks we need people with big visions to inspire us and lead us to a better future.
Like who?
He talks about people like Christopher Columbus and Copernicus.
They had some pretty big dreams.
They did, and they weren't afraid to challenge what everyone else thought was possible.
That's inspiring. But it's not easy to hold on to your dreams when life gets tough.
That's true, and that's where Alan's idea of serenity comes in.
Okay, so being calm helps us deal with challenges.
It does. He believes calmness of mind is super important for navigating life's ups and downs.
So it's not about ignoring our emotions.
Yeah.
It's about finding inner peace so we don't get swept away by everything.
Exactly. He uses this beautiful image of a shade-giving tree in a thirsty land to describe a serene person.
I like that.
It shows how our inner state can affect the people around us.
So cultivating serenity is good for us and for others.
Right. It's about recognizing that we're all connected, and our thoughts and feelings have a ripple effect.
Wow, so we have to take responsibility for our own inner world.
We do.
Mm.
Because when we create peace and positivity within ourselves, it spreads outward and makes the world a better place for everyone.
You know, it's pretty amazing to think that just finding some inner peace can have such a big impact on our lives and the world around us.
It really is. It shows how connected everything is, right?
Mm.
Alan really believed that when we change ourselves, we change the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it all starts with deciding to cultivate a more positive mindset, choosing those empowering thoughts.
And as we've been talking about all these ideas from As a Man Thinketh, I keep thinking about how it's like we're all given these mental chisels at birth.
Like that.
And every thought we have is like using that chisel to sculpt our life.
It's a great visual.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is we can always pick a different chisel.
Okay.
We can shift our focus and create something totally new.
So if we don't like what we've created so far, we can change it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It takes effort, of course, just like any art form does.
Yeah.
But Alan would say it's an ongoing process. You're never really done refining it.
So it's about embracing that journey of growth and change.
And knowing you have the power to shape your reality every step of the way.
And that's what makes Alan's message so empowering.
It is. He's not just giving us rules, he's showing us a way to master ourselves.
Yeah. And as we wrap up our deep dive into As a Man Thinketh, I think it's important to remember that putting these ideas into practice isn't always easy.
You're right. It's a lifelong journey of self-awareness, discipline, and choosing the right thoughts. It takes effort,
But it's worth it, right?
Oh, absolutely. The rewards are incredible.
So for anyone listening who feels inspired to take control of their thoughts and create the life they want, what's one piece of advice from Alan that you would give them?
Hmm. I'd say start by paying attention to your thoughts. Just notice that inner voice. What are the patterns? Do you see a lot of negativity, self-doubt, fear? Then start replacing those thoughts with better ones.
It sounds simple.
It is, but it's super powerful.
So we're basically training our minds to focus on the good.
Exactly. To see what's possible instead of getting stuck on limitations.
And the more we do that, the more we'll see it reflected in our lives.
It really does work that way.
I'm definitely feeling inspired to reread As a Man Thinketh now.
Me too. There's always something new to discover in that book, no matter how many times you've read it.
And we encourage everyone listening to do the same. Explore this classic for yourself and see how it can help you unlock your full potential.
Because as James Allen said, you are today where your thoughts have brought you. You will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you.
That's a powerful thought to end on.
It is.
So choose your thoughts wisely and let them lead you towards the life you truly desire.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the power of thought.
And until next time, keep those mental chisels sharp and your minds open to all the amazing possibilities out there.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. That way you won't miss any of our updates. Also, if you think this video could help others, please share it with them. Thanks for watching and for your support.